Welcome back to Sissy Maya. Make sure to subscribe to our channel to never miss an update. Additionally, consider subscribing to my Patreon to get access to these features, and much more. When David got home from work on Friday evening, he grabbed a beer and started flipping through channels. His wife, Samantha, interrupted his relaxation with an announcement: "Since you enjoy watching that dance show on TV, I've enrolled both of us in country line dancing lessons at Vera's dance shop." Earlier that day, Samantha had called her old friend, Vera, whom she had taken jazz and tap lessons with last year, to set up the plan. Vera agreed to help and immediately reached out to other customers to organize the class. David's reaction was not positive. He told Samantha that he wasn't interested in any dance lessons and refused to go. Samantha, however, knew she had a point. "If you're not interested in dancing," she asked, "then why do you watch that dance show every week?" David couldn't admit that he watched it only for the chance to see the dancers. Reluctantly, he agreed to attend the lessons on a trial basis. The following Saturday afternoon, David and Samantha dressed for their first lesson. David wore his jeans, a western shirt, and cowboy boots. Samantha chose a western blouse and a pleated skirt, paired with cowboy boots. David felt a rush of excitement when he saw Samantha come downstairs and twirl in front of him. When they arrived at the studio, the other students had already gathered, having come early to discuss Samantha's plan. There were 2 other couples and 4 single women. Vera greeted them warmly and complimented their outfits. David noticed the large mirrors around the room, including the mirrored floor, which made everything feel bigger. The other students were dressed similarly, with most women in skirts. David found that some of the men seemed a bit more on the sensitive side, but they were all friendly. Vera lined everyone up for the first dance step, positioning David and Samantha at the front. David noticed how the mirrors reflected everything around him, including the other students. He could barely focus on the lesson as he took in his surroundings. Samantha noticed his enthusiasm and could tell he was beginning to enjoy the lessons more than he expected. When they got home, Samantha asked how the trial went and if David wanted to return for more lessons. David quickly replied that he couldn't wait for the next class. That evening, they enjoyed a great time together. David and Samantha continued attending the lessons each Saturday, gradually improving their skills. David looked forward to the dancing and spending quality time with Samantha. One day, after the class, Samantha mentioned that she liked the matching outfits the other couples had worn. She suggested that they go shopping for matching outfits. David agreed, remembering how good the couples looked in their coordinated clothing. The next Saturday, Samantha showed David the matching outfits she had picked out. Samantha wore a red and black skirt and blouse with fringe, along with black pantyhose and boots. David was given a matching shirt and black jeans, along with new boots and a hat. However, when David tried to put on the new jeans, they didn't fit properly. Samantha giggled as she watched David struggle and asked if he'd gained weight. David questioned why she had chosen such tight jeans, but Samantha explained that they were the only option to match her outfit. After a while, David gave up and said they wouldn't be able to match. Samantha was disappointed, but after a moment, she suggested, "What if you try wearing something under the jeans to help them fit?" David laughed, "I'm not wearing anything like that." Samantha smiled, saying, "Suit yourself, David, but if you want to wear the outfit, you'll have to find a way." When David got home from work on Friday evening, he grabbed a beer and started flipping through channels. His wife, Samantha, interrupted his relaxation with an announcement. "Since you enjoy watching that dance show on TV, I've signed us up for country line dancing lessons at Vera's dance shop." Earlier that day, Samantha had called her old friend, Vera, whom she had taken jazz and tap lessons with last year, to set up the plan. Vera agreed to help and contacted some other students to organize the class. David wasn't thrilled. He told Samantha that he wasn't interested in dancing and didn't want to go. Samantha, however, had a clever way of convincing him. "If you don't want to dance, why do you watch that show every week?" she asked. David couldn't deny his interest, so he reluctantly agreed to give the lessons a try. The next Saturday, David and Samantha dressed for their first lesson. David wore his jeans and a Western shirt, while Samantha chose a Western blouse and a skirt with cowboy boots. When David saw Samantha come downstairs, he was impressed. The two of them headed to the studio, where the other students had already arrived. Vera greeted them warmly, and they joined the group in the large studio surrounded by mirrors. David noticed the beautiful reflections and felt a bit more at ease. The other students were dressed in similar outfits, and the atmosphere was welcoming. Vera began the first dance step and positioned David and Samantha at the front. David was a bit distracted at first, but he soon realized how fun the lessons could be. Samantha noticed David's growing interest and was pleased to see him enjoying himself. As the class progressed, David's confidence grew, and he found himself looking forward to the lessons more each week. Afterward, Samantha asked if David wanted to keep going with the classes. He quickly said yes, excited for the next one. The following week, Samantha suggested they match their outfits like the other couples had done. David agreed, and the next Saturday, Samantha pulled out matching clothes. She had chosen a beautiful outfit for herself and a matching shirt and jeans for David. However, David struggled with the fit of the new jeans. Samantha suggested he try something different to make them more comfortable, and David reluctantly agreed. After a bit of frustration, David was finally ready, and Samantha smiled at the effort. At the studio, everyone complimented David and Samantha on their outfits. David was focused on the fun of the dance lessons and no longer worried about the matching outfits. At home, Samantha shared how pleased she was with their progress and suggested more matching outfits for future lessons. David realized that these lessons were more than just dancing, they were about spending time together and exploring new experiences as a couple. Over the next few weeks, David and Samantha continued to attend the lessons, growing closer and becoming more skilled at dancing. David had learned to appreciate the experience, and Samantha was happy to see him embrace it. Their bond grew stronger, and they enjoyed the time they spent together outside of their normal routine. One Saturday, after a particularly fun class, Samantha asked David to help her with something at home. David agreed, and as they spent the afternoon together, they found themselves growing even closer. David realized that these dance lessons were a way for them to connect in new ways, and he was glad he had agreed to try something outside of his comfort zone. As the lessons progressed, Vera announced to the class that they had been entered into a dance contest scheduled for 2 weeks later. She was already preparing costumes for the event and reminded everyone to plan for a dress rehearsal the following week. After David and Samantha returned home from the studio, they went upstairs to unwind as usual. As David started to undress, Samantha surprised him by asking him to leave on some of the clothes they had worn to class. David, now feeling more comfortable with their new experience, reluctantly agreed. Standing in the bedroom, David looked at his reflection and noticed the changes from the previous lessons, the smoothness of his legs and the painted toenails. He felt a mix of embarrassment and curiosity. Samantha, noticing his self-consciousness, gently encouraged him. "David," she said, "it's okay to enjoy the things that make you feel pretty. It's part of embracing different sides of yourself." With that, she decided to continue with their light-hearted game and applied some makeup to enhance David's look. She chose a soft lipstick and a bit of mascara, and styled his hair in a simple way. David, while feeling somewhat awkward, appreciated the attention and the fun of it all. Later, as they sat together, Samantha asked if David wanted to see his reflection. He sat at her vanity and looked into the mirror, a bit surprised at how different he looked. "I look different," he said, running his hands over his smooth legs. Samantha smiled and added, "Sometimes it's nice to see yourself in a new way." That night, David and Samantha shared a quiet, intimate evening. David's exploration of this new side of himself continued to surprise him, but he found he was enjoying the bonding experience with Samantha. The next morning, David awoke feeling somewhat more aware of the feminine side he had been exploring. Samantha greeted him with a playful remark, teasing him about how late he had slept after the eventful day before. David, still adjusting to his new look, self-consciously tugged at the hem of his robe, but Samantha assured him that he looked good, offering a gentle reminder that they had plans for the day. Over breakfast, Samantha mentioned she wanted to shop for a few more things for David to wear. "You can't keep borrowing my things," she said with a smile. "Let's find you something that fits your new look." David felt a little uncertain but decided to embrace it. Samantha then gave him a choice. He could either dress fully in the new outfits they had been exploring or keep it simple and perhaps deal with some teasing. David chose to continue with the day's exploration. He took a bath, shaved as Samantha had suggested, and returned to the bedroom to get dressed. Samantha had prepared a new set of clothes, a soft bra and panty set, paired with a skirt and blouse that were more feminine but still comfortable. She applied makeup more thoughtfully this time, helping him feel confident in his appearance. She then added accessories to complete the look, and David was surprised at how much more comfortable he was with his new style. Samantha encouraged David to practice walking and sitting with more grace, a skill she had been teaching him. As David walked around, he was amazed at how different he felt. "It's about learning new things," Samantha said with a smile, "and embracing every side of you." A little while later, Samantha joined David in the living room where he was practicing his posture and walking in a more feminine manner, making small adjustments to get just the right balance. He was experimenting with different movements and sitting positions, smoothing his skirt as he sat down. Much to David's surprise, Samantha had dressed much more casually than he had, wearing pants, a camp shirt, and loafers. Her makeup was also much more understated than his. "Why am I so much more dressed up than you?" David asked, surprised. Samantha smiled and explained, "I just want you to be the center of attention today since it's your special day." She handed him a pink leather purse and a pair of sunglasses. "You should find everything you need in your purse," she added. "Lipstick, powder, an extra pair of panties, and even some tampons and pads, just in case." David looked at her with a puzzled expression, not entirely sure what she had planned for him. When David went to the car, he automatically walked toward the driver's side, but Samantha stopped him and said, "I'll be driving today." She opened the passenger door for him and added, "Now don't forget to smooth your skirt and get in like a lady." David followed her instructions, adjusted his skirt, and sat gracefully in the passenger seat, pulling his legs in. "That was very good, David," Samantha praised as she shut the door. Samantha drove them to a shopping mall on the other side of town. Once there, she suggested David touch up his makeup before heading inside. As David reapplied his lipstick, Samantha laid out her plan for the day. "We're going to spend the afternoon shopping for some new things for you. We'll start at the lingerie store and then find you some shoes. I have a few more surprises, and I want you to cooperate fully. If you resist or hesitate, I'll make sure people know exactly who you are. You'll be on your own to find your way home." David, understanding the situation, nodded quietly in agreement. As they walked into the mall, David became more aware of his high heels clicking on the pavement and the feeling of the wind swirling around his legs and skirt. He had to adjust his skirt several times, as the wind playfully lifted it higher than he intended, giving him a brief flash of self-consciousness. Inside the mall, Samantha led David to one of her favorite lingerie boutiques. Samantha told the salesperson that her sister needed a wardrobe update. The salesperson, eager to help, measured David and assisted them in selecting various pieces. They picked out a wide array of pastel-colored panties, bras, camisoles, nightgowns, and robes, along with a few foundation garments, corsets, and some playful items like teddies. Samantha also insisted David try out garter belts, saying, "You should experience how stockings feel, rather than relying on pantyhose all the time." David, a little embarrassed but going along with it, picked out several sets of leotards and tights for exercise, all with matching headbands. Samantha also spotted some swimsuits on sale and decided they would pick out both a one-piece and a bikini for him. After trying on several options, they chose a powder blue one-piece with a small ballet skirt and a bikini that was flattering and feminine. Later, Samantha and David continued their shopping trip, carrying several bags as they walked toward the shoe store. Along the way, they passed an earring kiosk offering free piercings with any purchase. Samantha suggested David get his ears pierced, picking out a few pairs of earrings and holding them up to his ears for comparison. David hesitated, but Samantha, noticing his reluctance, gave him a firm look and said, "Let's just go along with it, David. It'll be fun, I promise." David, not wanting to argue, agreed, and Samantha picked out a pair of simple CZ studs and some faux pearl dangly earrings. She asked the shop assistant to pierce both of David's ears. As the procedure was happening, Samantha found a small gold ankle chain with Missy engraved on it. She purchased both the earrings and ankle bracelet and smiled, saying, "This will be a reminder for you." Once the piercing was done, Samantha made light of the situation, keeping things playful and teasing David. "Now you're really looking the part," she said as they left the kiosk. Next, they headed to a shoe store, where David tried on several pairs of shoes. After a bit of fun with the process, Samantha selected a variety of shoes, including heels, flats, and boots in different styles and colors. "You did well in that store, David," Samantha remarked as they left. "I don't think anyone suspected a thing." The afternoon continued with Samantha picking out outfits for David in several stores, ensuring he had a wide selection of clothes. At one point, David mentioned he needed to use the restroom, and Samantha, in a playful mood, led him toward the ladies' room. David, knowing better than to protest, followed her instructions and used the restroom while keeping things lighthearted. Later, as they walked past the earring kiosk on their way out, the shop assistant waved and greeted them, sharing a friendly moment with Samantha. Samantha encouraged David to wave back, ensuring the atmosphere stayed fun and light. With their shopping complete, Samantha suggested one final stop before heading home. She drove them to a Western wear store, where she picked out matching outfits for David and herself, along with some new cowboy boots. David even tried on a square dance dress, which made him feel a little embarrassed, but Samantha kept things light by making playful comments. "It's all in good fun," she said with a wink, "but I won't make you wear this home." After the fashion show on Sunday night, David was allowed to remove his makeup and the polish from his nails. Samantha suggested he replace the polish with clear lacquer to help strengthen your nails, she said with a smile. He slipped into one of the new nightgowns they had bought earlier that day, a soft, comfortable piece he found surprisingly pleasant. Monday morning came, and as David got ready for work, he noticed his usual boxer shorts were nowhere to be found. Instead, his drawers were filled with the new items he and Samantha had picked up the day before. "Samantha, where did my boxers go?" David asked, a little puzzled. Samantha grinned and said, "Well, they're in your underwear drawer, silly." He looked again and noticed only women's clothing. "Samantha, there's only, well, these," he said, pointing at the lace-trimmed pieces. "I thought you'd enjoy these more," she replied. "They're much more comfortable than those old boxers." David hesitated but decided to go along with it. After all, he had agreed to embrace some of these changes. As he finished dressing in his usual male clothes, he noticed the small hoops in his ears that Samantha had suggested he wear instead of the larger studs. "What about these?" he asked, nervously glancing at his reflection. "You'll be fine," Samantha reassured him. "Besides, a lot of guys wear earrings these days." At work, the office buzzed with curiosity about David's new look. The secretaries began to discuss his appearance, noticing the slight changes in his grooming. "His eyebrows look a bit more sculpted," one said. "And did he always wear earrings?" another added. David's secretary, Tina, was particularly observant and noticed more than a few details she hadn't seen before. She decided to investigate further when she had the chance. Later that day, Tina found herself in David's office, offering him an unexpected back rub. David, feeling unusually relaxed, was caught off guard when Tina asked, "Is that a camisole under your shirt?" David, taken aback, stammered, "No, it's just a light shirt." Tina raised an eyebrow and said, "Well, it's not something I would expect from a guy, but hey, I guess it's your choice." David's face turned red as he realized Tina had figured it out, but he didn't want to make a bigger deal of it.
Embarrassed but not wanting to escalate things, David finally admitted, It's part of what Samantha suggested I try. I'm just following her lead." Tina raised an eyebrow but smiled. "Hey, if it works for you, then that's your business. But you've got to admit, it's a little unexpected." David quickly gathered his things and tried to shrug off the conversation. But Tina, in a lighter mood, handed him a note addressed to Samantha as he was leaving for the day. "See you tomorrow, David," she said with a teasing smile. After returning home, David expressed his frustration to Samantha about the difficult day he had at work due to the changes in his wardrobe and appearance. Samantha, however, was unsympathetic and casually took the note from Tina that David had delivered. She excused herself to read it privately. The next morning, David found himself in a similar situation, dressed in a camisole and other clothes from their recent shopping trip, still adjusting to the changes Samantha had suggested. He was feeling conflicted but decided to go along with it. Samantha had even added a touch of perfume, which David hoped would go unnoticed. As he entered his office, he noticed a single pink carnation on his desk with a card addressed to Missy from the women in his department. David opened the card, feeling a mix of emotions as he realized the impact his appearance was having at work. He later received an email from Tina that read, "Missy, what color are your panties today? Just wondering," from one of the girls, Tina. David, though embarrassed, typed a brief response, "Lavender." Saturday came quickly, and David and Samantha were excited for their dance class, especially since it was the dress rehearsal for an upcoming dance competition. David was anxious but decided to embrace the experience. As he showered, Samantha reminded him to shave and mentioned she had already picked out his outfit. When David walked into their bedroom, he was surprised to find the Western-style outfit she had selected, complete with a skirt, blouse, pink boots, and a cowboy hat. Samantha, dressed in a matching outfit but in blue, encouraged him to hurry. David hesitated, unsure about dressing in the same manner for the dance class. "What will everyone think when we walk in dressed like this?" David asked. Samantha reassured him, "Everyone in the class is counting on you. Besides, they already know you've been embracing this change." David reluctantly agreed to go along with it. Samantha helped him get dressed in the outfit, guiding him through the makeup and styling process. She even helped him file and paint his nails, making sure everything was just right. "You look adorable," Samantha teased as she fixed his hair and adjusted the hat. "This will be fun," she said, excited for the dance class. When they arrived at the dance studio, Vera greeted them warmly, complimenting their matching outfits. "You look great, David. Thanks for going along with us for the competition," Vera said. As the rest of the class entered, David noticed that all the men were dressed similarly. He felt confused but realized that the other male students had been through the same process of embracing this new experience. Vera explained, "Everyone here has been dressing like this for a while, but we wanted you to feel more comfortable in the beginning." David began to understand that this was a part of a larger experience, and though confused, he was starting to feel more at ease with the changes. Though he wasn't sure how he felt about everything yet, David couldn't help but notice that he was starting to enjoy the new experiences with Samantha, and perhaps even the sense of community that came with embracing these new roles. "All right, everyone," Vera called, "time to line up for the first dance." She continued, "We need to get through these quickly, as I need to distribute the costumes for the competition." As they practiced their footwork, spins, and kicks, David couldn't help but notice how different the dance class felt. His attention kept drifting to the new outfits, including his own, and he realized how much more comfortable he felt in them. He found himself distracted by the experience, occasionally missing steps but enjoying the overall sense of camaraderie among the group. He couldn't help but wonder how the other dancers were feeling, especially those who, like him, were stepping out of their comfort zones. Once Vera was satisfied with their rehearsal, she led them to the dressing room to distribute the costumes for the upcoming competition. Each costume matched exactly and consisted of a light, airy blouse with red fringe details on the sleeves and a short red skirt made of satin-like material. They were also given matching red hats and boots, creating a coordinated look. Vera handed out nude-colored pantyhose and a pair of white satin dance panties to each dancer. David couldn't help but smile when he saw his name monogrammed on the bottom of the panties with a small red ribbon bow. It was a subtle yet personal touch, and he felt an unexpected sense of pride in his new attire. After everyone had changed into their costumes, Vera shared the exciting news: the winning team of the competition would have the chance to perform on the Club Dance Country Dance show. David was thrilled. The thought of dancing on TV was both exciting and nerve-wracking, but he knew it would be a memorable experience. He was eager to get on stage and show off the moves he had been practicing, alongside his fellow dancers. The competition was a huge success, and they won in style. Everyone was impressed with their performance and their matching outfits. Dancing on the club dance show turned out to be one of the highlights of David's life. He got to meet Alison Richardson, the show's host, and after their performance, they were in high demand for dancing partners. David spent the rest of the evening dancing with a charming cowboy from Texas, enjoying the attention and the fun atmosphere. As time passed, David found himself becoming closer to his new friends, including Grace, another member of the group. Grace became his closest confidant, and they shared many fun outings together, including dinner, shopping trips, and even plans for a girls' vacation the following summer. David was excited for what lay ahead, and as he spent more time with his new friends, he felt more comfortable and confident than ever before. Don't forget to join me on Patreon for exclusive content,